Christians forcing others to live as Christians is not the way forward. You are not going to make people be Christian by making legal systems force Christian law onto people who are not Christian. If you tell people that trans and homosexual uh, people are wrong or are abominations or some crazy crap like that, you know what they're gonna think? They're gonna think, "Wow, this whole Christian thing is evil as hell and just horrible." All right? That's not what you want. What you want, remember, is that you're supposed to be given this joy and this love by living with Christ. Jesus saved us from being destroyed. If we fought for our rights, we'd be in hell. Like that's the point. Like Jesus and God, by all rights, could have just thrown us away, but he didn't. Instead, he made a major sacrifice to save us, sacrificing a part of himself to save us. That's supposed to bring you great joy and love. If all you show to someone is hatred and anger, and they don't even believe in the God that you're supposed to be, angry for, they're just gonna see you as an evil piece of shit. And by all rights, they should. If you're a Christian and you go around and you're just showing anger and hatred and bitterness, the thing that's wrong is in you. You're not supposed to be doing that kind of thing. If you're acting on bitterness and anger and hatred, it is not for the Lord. You can do evil, evil things in the name of the Lord. He's not going to stop you. It says in the Bible, what you do from now on will be in my name, for good or evil. And that means that you can do some pretty messed up stuff. If you're going around telling people that they're going to hell or that they're abominations or that they're evil or believing just stupid propaganda that you should know isn't right just because you're bitter or frustrated or angry, all that's going to do is be counterproductive. Is that going to help people? If you go to someone and tell them they're an abomination just because they don't feel right in their own skin and think maybe they should be a different gender, is that going to save them? Is that going to get their soul saved? What is your other option? Do you think that somewhere in the Bible, Jesus is like, if the person doesn't want to stop being gay, kill them or beat them up until they decide that living by me is the better option? Is that love? Is that love? Telling someone that they're going to hell or hating them or telling them they're garbage or showing them anger and hatred, is that going to save them? Is that love? Is that what Jesus did? When a woman who by all rights by the law of Moses was about to be stoned for being an adulteress, did Jesus be like, all right, let's stone this bitch. That's going to save her? No. Did he say that? No, he said, whoever amongst you who has not sinned, throw the first stone. And they all left. Here's the thing. When did we just start thinking, yes, I am the one who can throw the first stone? And you might think to yourself, well, I'm not gay. I'm not trans. What does that matter? Have you ever lusted after someone else's wife or someone else's husband? And you thought, well, I haven't acted on any of it, so it's okay. No, in the Bible, it literally says that thinking about it is the same sin as acting on it. You are a sinner. You do not have the right to throw that first stone. And you say, well, the law of Moses says that homosexuals should be stoned. Are you an Israelite? Are you an Israelite living in the ancient United Kingdom of Israel and Judah? No. Were you living during the time where Moses brought the Israelites up out of Egypt? No. Are you an Israelite like under David or something? No. And you may think, well, it's supposed to apply to all believers. Is it? In the Bible, this came up. When the Christians were beginning to spread amongst Gentiles, there was a sect, a group, that were telling them to circumcise and follow the law of Moses. This sparked a big debate. So Paul, Peter, and the other apostles and the other leaders came together and they discussed this, they debated it, because they weren't really sure. What they came up with is that no, new Gentile believers do not have to follow the law of Moses. What they have to do is practice the Ten Commandments, avoid sexual immorality, and a few other sort of like simple rules. So like, if you're going to follow any part of the law of Moses, you have to follow all of it. And let me tell you, ain't none of you following the whole law of Moses, because ain't none of you ever read it, because you're going to have to memorize the thing. Even the Jewish people couldn't follow the law of Moses. That was like a major thing. It's like, even the Jews can't follow the law of Moses, and it was made for them. So how are all these new Gentile believers who are not raised in it going to do it? Like that was the whole it was like the whole point is like Jews who were raised in it weren't doing it right because it's so hard to follow the whole law of Moses. So how the hell are new Gentile believers who are not raised in it going to do it? So this whole idea of making people or making whole nations live by the law of Moses is ridiculous. It's not going to get people saved, and that's the whole point. You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be like, I am saved. I deserve to die. I am a sinner, and yet God saved me. So, where is that love? Where is that kindness? Like, Jesus wasn't hanging out with the best of the best people. He was hanging out with sinners. He was hanging out with tax collectors, with people who abused their power. He was hanging out with people who were terrible human beings because they're the ones that needed healing. And he didn't condemn them. He didn't condemn that one woman who was by the law of Moses supposed to be stoned to death for her adultery. No. He had dinner with them. He made some of them his disciples. Like, when you show anger and hatred and bitterness, I need you to just stop. Like, it's not going to get anyone saved. It's just going to let the devil work through you more. Like, you can't force someone to live in the way you want them to live. It's all you're going to do is do evil to them. And if you're doing evil to them, you are not doing what Jesus told you to do. Don't go around trying to force people to live in a religion they don't even believe in. If you show the love and the joy in your heart by giving to your means or even beyond, that will be so much more convincing. If you go to someone and tell them they're an abomination or something stupid because they want to be a different gender than what they were born as, is that going to bring them closer to salvation? Is that going to make them happier? Is that going to be treating them right? No. All you're going to be doing is being an asshole. Yeah, I said it. That's all that is. It doesn't matter what your personal beliefs are. They might not even believe in God in the first place. So if you say, hey, God hates what you're doing, what is that going to mean to them? They don't even believe in God. All they're going to see instead of the joy and love of Jesus is going to be the anger and hatred that they don't understand and have no concept for from this one guy they probably don't even know. It doesn't make any sense. In the Bible, it specifically states that if you love those who love you and hate those who hate you, you've accomplished nothing. It's the same thing as the pagans do. That's the exact quote, and it says it multiple times. Even non-believers do that same thing. You're supposed to love those who hate you. You're supposed to treat everyone well, regardless of their beliefs. You're supposed to be a beacon of hope and love, regardless. Every single person you come across, you're supposed to show this to the best of your ability, not to show some form of hatred and bitterness that is within you. So if you have these feelings inside of you, if you have this frustration and anger and bitterness, when you think about things, I don't know, anything, that isn't good. It doesn't matter what it's for, what it's about. If it's a religious thing, if it's, I don't know, someone you're living with, it doesn't matter. These feelings are not going to help you spread the love of God. If you are just filled with this bitterness and anger, take it from someone who has tried their whole life to control these types of emotions and deal with them. This is not something that will help you or help other people.